Hi, I'm Victor Allen and welcome back. This talk builds on the first two in the confidence and self-belief series. Now that I've given you a basic introduction to the two topics, I'm going to widen that lens to answer a few questions. And one of them specifically I hear quite often, which is how do I stay confident and emotionally in control when situations, people are winding me up? First, let me explain why we all tend to struggle in the same issue, and then I'll give you a few things to start trying to manage your emotions more effectively. You see, it has to do with our brains and how our brains carries some hardwired instincts, survival responses passed down from us from our earliest ancestors. Early humans, over hundreds of thousands of years of hunting, gathering, surviving in what would have been a hostile environment. And those responses back then kept us all safe. We learned to develop them from a very young age because back then, if something happened, chances are we might actually be in mortal danger. We hear, we see something we don't like, we become agitated, our emotions get triggered, our body gets ready to respond to get out of trouble. And back then we only needed one or a combination of 4 responses. It was that basic. We could fight, flight, flock as in get some folks around us, or we could freeze. Solved everything. Hundreds of thousands of years, we were okay with those 4. But unfortunately, not so helpful today. The same starting point we have with us is the same as they had back then. When our emotions get triggered, something unsettling, our body then kicks in and wants to respond. Even if nowadays it could be just opening an email, standing in a queue, having a tense conversation. The list is absolutely endless. Hence, we find the problem today is we often overreact to the problems because they're no longer life-threatening. So how do we manage it better? Well, let's transfer some learning from our own childhood and also how we try and teach children today to manage things so we, as adults, are better prepared. You see, most scientists nowadays recognise our brains become fully matured around the age of 25. And at 3, that's the time something called our limbic system kicks in. It contains, with other things, all our emotions, which is why we see emotional outbursts starting within children, what we call temper tantrums from 2, 3, 4-year-olds. If they get angry or frustrated, they might throw things or punch things or even punch each other, make noises, slam things, bang things, run off, hide. You see, all of those are actually skills they might need as an adult 100,000 years ago. We see those activities all through adolescence as they're dealing with these strong emotions, but none of them, we know, are now life-threatening, which they find themselves in. And none of them help them solve problems in the modern world. Not because the children are angry, remember, it's because they've got this range of emotions, they're hardwired, that young person is trying to manage. And what they're needing is an adult, usually to step in to help them regulate, to explain things, to guide them through the moment, to distract them, to help reassure them that they're actually safe, don't need to be anxious, they don't need to be as annoyed, and they can actually manage those lives better. The skills which we're now trying to teach them is to get on with people, to cooperate, to show empathy, to find understanding, because all of that helps them manage to succeed, learn to reflect, adapt. Because, as I mentioned, they're non-life-threatening, they're just emotional situations. Well, if you're over the age of 25, you're now fully mature brain in there. You're now the adult. You have now access to all the positive problem-solving abilities, and you have the ability to keep that emotional mind in check. You are meant to be the kind of coach and manager that you should be for those teenagers and children by using that grown-up brain. But remember, your hardwired emotional brain is constantly monitoring any signs of danger, just ready to get triggered, as in the past. And if you're not ready for it, hence you will see a lot of adults and a lot of people responding emotionally to modern day situations, which, as you and I know full well, doesn't tend to end well. So now you understand the situation that you find yourself in. Here's some things for you to try to stay in control. Stay in control of those hardwired, emotional, immediate responses. You see, your thinking brain needs to be ready. It needs to be prepared to look for signs that your emotional brain wants to kick in or could possibly kick in. So you need to be keeping asking and checking. If you think you're going to go into a situation this week which might become emotional, if you know you're needing to respond to somebody but have to be careful how you respond, remember this most important thing. Staying in control means you've got an amazing amount of possibilities to solve the situation to make it better in this modern world. Getting emotional means you only have 4 hardwired responses. That tiny moment of awareness, of preparation, is the first step for staying confident and emotionally controlled, less prone to those outbursts and annoyances. And in the next talk, I'll introduce you to something I call mental security. And I will talk about how you can effectively identify and manage the three main emotional triggers that your brain is monitoring. Well, I hope this talk has been helpful as a first step in becoming in charge emotionally rather than emotionally charged. If it is, then leave a thumbs up, as it will make me happy. And please leave any comments or requests for me to cover in future topics. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and as always, be kind to yourself and others out there. Bye for now.